Hey, what is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Well, as you can tell from the title, today we are going to be talking about GMR, or Gamer Finance. Now, this is a company I've talked about on the channel multiple times in the past, and I like to keep you guys updated once maybe every 4 or 5 days, just to let you know what all has changed, as they have been making absolutely fantastic progress. And going forward, I think that they will continue to see that progress and see some more success, even through everything going on right now. I'm super duper excited about the future of this company. It's one of the most exciting cryptos for me personally, and so with that being said, I'll make sure to keep you guys as up to date as possible. Now, for any of you new viewers out there, I will let you know that I actually do have a Patreon. Now, in this Patreon, you will get access to a whole bunch of things. You will get access to the things that I buy. You will get access to my portfolios. You will also get access to these videos 20 to 30 minutes earlier than everyone else, as well as get the research and notes that I put together for these videos, as well as research reports every single day on some of your favorite cryptos. So if that is something that would interest you, go down to the link in the description. Go check it out. If you could support it, that would be absolutely amazing. Also, if you are looking to expand out into a new brokerage or start your own investment journey, I highly recommend using Webull. If you use the referral link down below, you will get 2 free stocks valued all the way up to $1,850 when all you do is deposit $100 into your newly created account. So just to get an idea, let's go ahead. Let's first start with the charts. Now, I released my last update video on them on about May 12th. I was doing all of the recording on May 11th, of course. And one thing that we did see was that Gamer was stuck in something of a descending triangle. It was a bit of a wedge, and I said basically that I wasn't going to be buying at the moment until we saw it able to clear this downtrend that we were on. Now, I do believe Gamer's going to have a lot of success in the future. I think that if they are able to put together all of these events, and if they are able to reach these milestones that they think they will, that they will find loads of success. But of course, we do need to time our entrances just right if we're building our portfolio, increasing positions or starting positions, so we can justify our buying at the time, which will give us more confidence in our investment, right? So after that, again, it was on May 12th, so it was going to be right around here. From there, we did see this thing still continue to fall. We were unable to clear this downtrend that we were in, and since then, it has fallen roughly, let's see, about 54%. So I'm kind of glad that we did go ahead and make that decision, just kind of hold off until we were able to clear that downtrend. Now, a few days later, we did actually notice that it did a major retest all the way up here. We cleared some of these levels, but we were not able to clear all forms of resistance. We saw loads of resistance at some of these fib retracements, and from there, the downtrend did continue. Now, one thing that I will say is that we actually did seem to trough out. So we were in this downtrend here, but over the last few days, it actually did seem as if we were finding some support, we were finding some ground, and that it was about time to get this thing going. Well, of course, we did see all of the stuff that happened in the market yesterday, and as we were expecting, it did show, as we did see a pretty big fall here once we saw the Bitcoin news and the rest of the cryptosphere getting shaken up and things like that. So one thing that I will say, though, is that whenever we did see this bottoming out here, I actually did get excited. I personally did get excited because I thought that this was going to be the big push that we needed. We saw a crossover the moving average. We saw a lot of good momentum. We saw a lot of good news coming out. It seemed like we were just going to be able to make it. We saw a super bullish candle here, and everything seemed to be lining up just perfectly. And then everything happened with Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto world that kind of sent this thing on a downward spiral. So what I'm going to be looking for, again, as I did say, is that since we did break out the bottom leg of this wedge here, what I will say is that I will be looking for a retest at least. I think that it'd be super duper important that we do go ahead, we retest this, re-enter, and then break out the upside. That would be, of course, the best case scenario. But even if we can go ahead, make a re-entrance, and then start to consolidate within this channel here until more good news comes out, until more exchange listings come out, something of that nature to justify an uptrend, that would be amazing as well. But I truly did believe that this was the one, and I'm so upset because I truly believe that had Bitcoin not had all the news that it had and the rest of the crypto world not gone so negative, that we would have seen this one break out. It was just a guess. It was a rough estimate. That is going to be an intersection, of course, right here between the downtrend line and the Fibonacci retracement level of resistance. So that would have provided even more, hardship to be able to break through. But I just had a gut feeling that it was I was so ready to buy. But of course it didn't happen. So we will keep an eye on it, and I will let you guys know. Now, it does seem as if I go over to the hourlies, that it seems like we may have crossed over this 9-day moving. Yeah, we did pretty easily there, which is always a good thing. That's a good sign of an uptrend there. So, I mean, I don't necessarily think that I'm going to short-term trade this. I usually don't short-term trade any altcoins, especially right now with all of the gas fees being so high, but I would say that that's typically a good sign that we may see an uptrend begin, and we have seen it close above this 9-day moving average for quite a few hours in a row now, which is generally a good sign that we may see a retest here. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on. So whenever it comes to overall what we have seen from GMR, what we have been seeing going forward, and how it's just progressed, because it's seen some amazing success. We can go ahead, and if we take a look, I made this video, the very first video on GMR on May 7th, and I thought that it was like I was just talking this thing up, because I truly do believe that it has a fantastic idea. Now, if we do go onto their Twitter, on May 7th, they released their day 4 facts. We talked about this thing on the 4th day of them being launched. At the time, they had $62 million in market cap, 40K holders, about 16,000 community members, and they had a coin market cap listing and a coin gecko listing, and that was about it. Well, if we do go all the way up to now, they did release another one of these like day blank facts, basically, that they released about 15 hours ago. And we can see the insane growth that this thing has seen, even during this, right? Even during a downturn. Now, and I will talk about this again in a second, why I believe it's going down and why I don't think it's a big deal. But let's just get through this. So, as we can see here, they have made some huge steps. So their market cap itself has nearly doubled. At one point, it had almost tripled. Their holders overall has increased by about 4 times, from 40,000 holders up to 166,000 holders. At the time, they had about 16,000 Telegram members and Twitter followers combined. They're now up to 85,000 plus. They also have 2 exchanges live, of course, as we did see, and we will go over in a second here. Their gamer.center was announced, which is a huge announcement for the company. They have even more exchanges coming and a massive partnership being announced very, very soon here. So as we can see, I mean, they have made some fantastic growth, and it has been absolutely phenomenal to be able to see all of the things that they have been able to do. Now, what I want to talk about, now that we've kind of got an idea of that, let's take a look at some of these new listings that they've been announcing, as I think that this is going to be just a good next step. Right? Whenever we're talking about these different cryptos that are speculative, because GMR is still speculative, don't get me wrong, it's still a speculation play, it's still a gamble, but at the end of the day, I think some speculation plays have more potential than others, and I think this is one on the upper end. Well, they did get a listing on Coinsbit, as we can see here. And if we do go down just a little bit, this thing is not going to lag. But as you can see here, they did go live on Bicky English not too long ago. Now, this is one that we've been seeing a lot of our altcoins and our hype coins and meme coins get listed on recently. So them being amongst the pack of people or cryptos who are actually able to get on the Bicky English, I think is a good thing, because I think with all of these different cryptos announcing their listing onto this exchange, it brings attention to them, and it almost provides an extra layer of credibility, just because so many other ones are able to do so. Now, that's going to be fantastic, as of course we did see, if I can go down far enough, I don't want to scroll all day, but one thing that we did see last week, I believe on the 14th, is that we are going to get a GMR and Bitmart listing. Now, this is something I'm super excited about. I think going forward that this is going to be a big step, because I think a lot of people, especially in these different places, here we go, in these different places in the country, especially in the United States, who aren't able to access Binance, such as myself, being able to buy things on Bitmart is super duper convenient, because if not, you got to try to get a VPN to get on BNB or something like that, and it's just so annoying, or you have to go through a whole bunch of different swabs, and you got to get your BEP20s. It's very annoying. So being able to get on Bitmart, which is a pretty large exchange in all honesty, being able to do that, it's an exchange with hundreds and hundreds of cryptos on it. That is going to be a great next step, and again, it's just credibility, legitimacy, and proving that they're actually going to do the things that they say they will do. Now, I said that I was going to talk about why I don't believe this downturn is a big deal. Okay. Now, that's a really green candle there. Man, I hope this continues. We might clearly see a retest. If we see a retest there and we break through, that's great. Anyway, so one thing I will say, why I don't believe this is necessarily a big deal. Of course, if you did get in up here, if you got in up here, that's not good. I definitely do feel for you, but that's why we just have to keep an eye on some of these different things, right? You don't want to necessarily be buying at the top whenever the RSI is in overbought territory. You don't want to be buying at the top when it's in the overbought territory, working its way into overbought territory. You got to keep an eye on these things. But for a long-term perspective, because our first video on this thing was all the way back here. So, I mean, this thing's still up hundreds of percentages. Well, the reason I don't think that this is a bad thing long-term is because why would it not do this right now? Like I know it's a very simple question, but I think it's a very important question. Why would it not fall right now? Right? We have to consider hype coins, the different meme coins that we saw come around. They were boosting a lot of these newer projects up and making them see unrealistic gains. I mean, we have to consider from launch to top, this thing grew right above, let's see, a couple thousand%. Right? So it's pretty understandable to see that this thing is going to see a bit of a fall. Okay. Now, the reason I don't believe that this is an issue is because of what the future holds for GMR. At the moment, what they're doing is just laying their foundation. They're not trying to overhype this thing. They're not trying to do too much. They're laying their foundation, and they're making sure that their fundamentals are strong, making sure that they have their coin market cap listing, making sure that their whale problem is they don't develop a whale problem, which they haven't, which we'll go over. They're trying to make sure that they get all of these things in motion to make sure that going forward, that when this thing is ready to go, it's ready to go, no issues. Right. And so while we are seeing it drop, yeah, of course, that's not a fun thing, right? If you're a GMR holder and you bought somewhere in here, maybe you bought here thinking it was the bottom and it's still declining. Of course, that's not a fun thing to think about. But what I will say is that this thing is setting itself up for future success. It's not necessarily worried about it right now. It's not sitting here stressing out. We haven't even seen them acknowledge the price, right? And that's a good sign because they're not worried about this. They're worried about the right things, which is the fundamentals. But we got to think about going forward. They have so many things coming up that separate themselves from so many other cryptos that makes me really excited. So we got to think in Q4, they're going to have that 250,000 GMR sponsored Warzone tournament, which is huge. Those tournaments are huge. And I know a lot of gamers. I'm friends with a lot of gamers on YouTube. I'm friends with a lot of gamers in real life. And they are pumped about tournaments, right? Because tournaments haven't really been a thing recently. They haven't really been able to do that with all of these different complications that we've been seeing. And then they have the blank 19, the pandemic, all of that stuff has made it really frustrating. So the relaunch of tournaments and having a GMR sponsored tournament that introduces crypto into that world is super interesting because people who play games, people who are on YouTube, people who play Twitch, they understand the crypto world. Trust me, they do, right? So there's a lot of different things that are coming on very, very soon. And I think that that provides them almost some type of, protection from this upcoming bear market that I think people are super worried about, right? Now, the reason I say that is because their use case is something that can be used for a long time, right? I think it's very niche. I think, only applying it to the gamer world is very niche, but that niche is very big. And so the reason I say that is if they can truly continue to brand themselves and grow themselves as a household name within the gaming community, that year round, crypto bear market, crypto bull market, they will always have a reason to have their token in circulation. All right. Whenever you have this tournament at the end of the year, which is when everyone thinks that we're going to be in a big bear market, that gives people a reason to buy your crypto, whether or not they're worried about a bear market. Half of these people who may buy the crypto or have to earn the crypto to get in the tournament or anything of this nature, they will simply be buying that or using it for the tournament itself. They will be using it for these different events that they will be holding, regardless of what it's doing performance-wise on the charts. And I think that will provide some type of layering protection and some type of floor from this thing seeing too much of a fall if we do enter into some type of bear market. I think this is why use cases are so important in this market, because sometimes if your use case is so strong, it can almost provide you some type of layer of protection over major falls or just going back to absolute zero, right? Now, some of those other cryptos whose maybe their use is a store of value, or, some of the smaller ones, obviously not Bitcoin or anything like that, but the ones who are used as a store of value. Well, we enter into a bear market and the value of it's going down. Well, who wants to store their value into a depreciating asset, right? It doesn't make any sense. Whenever you have something along these lines that has a reason to be used, whether or not the price is doing well, provide some type of protection. And that's why I'm excited. I think they're different. I haven't seen any other cryptos that are doing what they're doing, as we did see. If I do go all the way back up here, we can see that they have been doing a fantastic job at getting out their name, especially within certain communities that are really important. I'm going to go ahead and mute this, and then we can kind of see that
GMR
Dr. Disrespectful. Stop it. I don't want to get demonetized. But as we can see, Dr. Disrespect, he actually did throw him a shout out. I think it was a paid promotion, of course. But just doing all of this different branding with someone like Dr. Disrespect, who is a huge name in the Warzone and gaming community, is great because it provides not only just the big name influencers within this space to get an understanding of who they are so they can participate in these tournaments and get them out there, but they can reach out to even their audience, which is going to be your average typical human being who's just on Twitch at 11 p.m. at night before they go to sleep watching some Warzone, right? So with that being said, I'm very excited about the future. I think that it is a very, very high potential company. This is one of the ones that I truly have faith in to be able to make it out as long as they clear these speculative zones, okay? They're still speculative. There is still a lot of speculation within them, and they have to clear some of these barriers and hold up to some of these promises to be successful. But if they are capable of doing so, I can't see anything but success from them, and I'm very interested, and I'm willing to take the bet in the 50-50 gamble into the speculative play that they will be able to. So with that being said, of course, I will let you guys know how I continue to feel about them. If anything changes fundamentally, I will let you know. If we do see that price, as we did talk about, if we do enter into we re-enter into this wedge here, we are able to retest, not only retest but break through, and who knows, maybe even start to work our way back to the upside if the volume does increase a bit. It seems like we're still in a pretty decent spot on the RSI at the moment. So with all that being said, again, I will keep you guys up to date on what exactly happens. And if you guys did like today's video, of course, you can let me know by smashing the like button and subscribing to the channel if you are new. I post on this channel 2 to 3 times every single day, and I go live every day, Monday through Friday. So come check us out, come hang out, come find some new cryptos with us, and I'll see you very soon. Peace.